a lot of times I'll do girth measurements first, but in this instance I'll go ahead and do skin fold composition first, or body fat composition. And I'm going to go ahead and do an application share so you guys can see where I record the data. And Clarissa will probably help me record some of this data just so it goes faster. So for those of you guys who are in Jesse's class, I was explaining to my class earlier this week that one of the things that I highly recommend that you do as a fitness professional in the field today, as I said to my class, the personal trainers, from 3 years ago, they're different from the personal trainers today. I mean, this field, this industry is changing so fast, and I would no longer. I used to train with a clipboard in my hand, but I would definitely not do that in today. Today, if I was a full-time personal trainer, I would be training with a tablet or an iPad of some type, and I would have Excel there available to me so that I could be very efficient with my data recording. A large part of personal training is recording the data correctly and keeping track of the data, because as you guys have heard me say it before, and I'll say it again, personal training, people don't personal train so much because it's fun, and that doesn't mean that it's not fun, but people choose to do personal training because they want to get results. And so being able to record data accurately is essential. And so doing it efficiently is the name of the game. And so you'll see, when we go ahead and take these measurements, we'll be putting them into Excel so we can record that data. And that way, Casey can get, immediate feedback. I don't have to go into the book and work out the equations or look at a chart. She's able to see things right away. Now, the first thing that we do when we start with a skin fold composition is we try and put the client at ease, because they're totally nervous. They don't know what's going to happen. This could be a good experience or a bad experience. And so a lot of times humor and lots of smiles are really important. I mean, you want that client to feel like you're approachable. You want them to feel comfortable. And, sometimes humor can be, really important. So I told Casey that, today when I'm going to go do some skin folds, assessments on her, I was going to go have my Latino suave accent when we're, doing all these pinches on her, so she feels much more comfortable, right, you guys? No, don't do that. But any sort of humor. Some people, when I'll go ahead and show them these calipers, okay, I'll say, have you ever had a skin fold assessment before? Casey, have you had a skin fold assessment before? She's had one before. But if they haven't, I'll say, well, have you ever been pinched by a lobster or a crab before? I mean, it hurts like, son of a gun. So, just kind of, stay quiet through the pain, and, then I let them at ease and say, hey, you can barely feel it. It's just a slight pinch. Usually the skin fold assessment that's done on the upper thigh right there is, for most people, is maybe a slight bit of discomfort. But otherwise, most people come through. Nobody complains about the skin fold assessments, and yeah, so you don't have to worry about it being too painful. Now, also, to let you guys know, I'll also try and let the client at ease so that they know that these measurements that we're taking, they're not written in stone. It's not going to go on Facebook, and it's not going to be on, Casey's permanent record. That all of these measurements are things that we can change. We can alter through hard work in the gym. It does not, classify her as a good, bad, friendly, unfriendly person or anything like that at all. It just gives us a baseline of where we are at right now, and we can then see where we want to go with that. Okay. So the first one I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to do the 3-site measurement, which is the Jackson-Pollock measurement. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do another different type of skin fold assessment. Okay, the Durslin-Worsley skin fold assessment, and that's a 4-site assessment. And both of those assessments are gold standard. They're reliable, okay? And can anybody in the class tell me, before I begin, why do we do skin fold assessments rather than just putting Casey on the scale? Anybody want to comment through the audio on that?
To see where you need to work on the body.
Go ahead, Nicole.
Because muscle weighs more than fat, and if someone has more muscle, then they weigh more than the fat that they have on them.
Okay. Yes, muscle is more dense than fat. You're absolutely right. Go ahead, Bryce.
Not only that, I mean, when you step on the scale, you can't measure your body fat. Plain and simple.
What do you guys think about that answer? Bryce says that when you step on the scale, it's not measuring fat, it's just measuring mass. You guys agree with that? Yeah, he's absolutely right, you guys. Go ahead and give him some applause in the participant room. He nailed that question. He's absolutely right. If I put Casey on the scale, that gives me a data point of how much she weighs, okay? But the scale is a valid instrument for measuring mass, but it's not a valid or reliable instrument for measuring body fat, okay? Because especially for ladies, they could be retaining water a little bit more, or if you're trying to lose weight, you know, as soon as you lose that glycogen in your muscle cells from going on a calorie deficit, you'll start to lose some of that water because water bonds really well with glycogen. So the scale is going to go crazy. It's not going to give you very good, accurate measurements. Other things like, you know, you have to pee in the morning and you're stepping on the scale. You got a full bladder, or, you know, is it on, you know, is it that time of the month again, or, you know, those sorts of things. So skin fold calibration gives us a much better, more accurate method of determining change as far as body fat. So the skin fold calipers are what we use. They're more of a field assessment than they are a clinical assessment. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about clinical assessments in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and measure Casey, and then I'm going to mark those sites that I'm going to do the skin folds on. Does anybody know why I want to mark those sites?
So you can do it the same exact way when you re-record it?
Very good, Sharon. Yes, absolutely. So this is repeatable, okay? There's a large amount of tester error between testers. So if Clarissa will be doing a body fat assessment on me, I'm doing one on Casey, but if Clarissa went and also did a body fat on Casey, her results might vary because of user, you know, deviation or, you know, yeah, user error. So it's very important that you tell your client that if you're the one doing the skin fold assessments, it's much more accurate to have the same tester do the post assessment later on. Okay, it would be much more accurate. So I'm going to go ahead and measure Casey's tricep. So you can go ahead and turn around. And is it okay if I roll this shirt sleeve up? Thank you. So this measurement site, if you feel on the top of your shoulder, there's sort of a bony process up there, and that's called the acromion process, okay? So I'm going to measure from up there down to the elbow and mark right in between. Go ahead and relax that arm. Just let it hang. There we go. Perfect. So, and this one's an important area to measure because if you're trying to get in the middle of the tricep, you'll be surprised that that measurement right between the shoulder and the elbow is higher than you think. So, right here. Can you guys see that red mark? Maybe not see the red mark yet, but you will. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and have you turn around, and I'm going to go ahead and do the upper hip area here. Can anybody tell me what this upper hip area is called? What's the site?
Suprailiac.
Go ahead. Suprailiac. Very good. So what I'm doing is I'm feeling here for the very top